Kia ora. Today, I will be discussing the application of standard of sterilization practice. This includes AS 5369-2023 and NZS 8134-2021. So the discussions will include the scope of practice, who this applies to, exclusions, the relevance of NZS 8134-2021 to AS 5369-2023 and reprocessing. I will also provide examples of how the best practice is achieved in my daily work. So the Australian Standard 5369-2023 is the basis for the reprocessing of reusable medical devices and other devices in healthcare and non-health related facilities. So a document citing the importance of effective and safe reprocessing of RMDs and other devices, including proper handling and storage, efficient transportation. So these RMDs and devices are mainly used in human healthcare settings and other treatment, example, clinical trials and even the offices. So it acknowledges that there are coexisting similarities and differences between the different types of facilities where the RMDs and devices are being used, such as hospitals, clinics, medical imaging, office-based practices like dental clinics, podiatry, and aesthetic clinics. So in relation to this, it answers the questions of who the standards apply to. Basically, to everyone who processes these RMDs and devices in either healthcare or non-healthcare settings. Take note that these devices are only meant to be used on humans. So the similarities in the application of these principles are the generalized quality of systems, staff training and competency, even experience and conformity to the set reprocessing procedures. So the scope also includes the processing of single-use non-sterile RMDs and other devices supplied to the facility, which requires sterilization as per manufacturer's instruction prior to its single use. So the principles explains that interchanging of RMDs and devices used in post-mortem care, autopsy, veterinary procedures, and preclinical training involving animals is highly prohibited, considering infection prevention and control protocols. So single-use medical devices and equipment, contaminated RMDs, consumable products such as bandages and dressings, items not intended for medical use, manufacturing chemicals, biological indicators and equipment for the processing, and third parties of a tender process. So the facility can show adherence to the best practice by continually updating staff members through training and competency assessments, including in-service education of the products and processing equipment. So updating the facility to meet the standard requirements and maintenance of reprocessing equipment and checking to ensure correct temperature and humidity, especially in storage area. So lastly, auditing quality management systems and standard operating procedures to ensure they are up to date and safe to use. So I have two examples where the best practice is applied in my daily work. So number one, we have systematic approach in identifying and tracing products RMDs. So say section 2.5.3. In our department, we use the Getinge TDOC tracking system, which allows us to trace the instrument from decontamination area to packing, then finally to the dispatch area. So number two, we base our packing procedures in section 6.4.2. So we undergo rigorous training focusing on systematized and proper way of packing instrument and steripiling. So such as packing orthopedic tray, cesarean tray, and steripiling individual instrument. So moving on to my next discussion is about NZS 8134 2021. So this standard sets the quality and safety requirements for these services and outline the rights of service users and responsibilities of providers to ensure safe quality and continuous improvement in care delivery with a strong focus on equity and TTRT o Waitangi obligations. So the standard or code applies to all providers of health and disability services, whether in public or private sector. It all applies to all consumers of the health and disability providers. When the two standards NZS 8134 2021 and AS 5369 2023 correlates to each other because AS 5369 establishes the standard for the reprocessing system of RMDs and devices which the facility has adopted. So NZS 8134 ensures that the service provider meets the legal requirement of the HDS code and the accountability towards the health consumers. In section 5.2.6 indicates that infection prevention education shall be provided to health care and support workers and people receiving services by a person with expertise in infection prevention. So during my first week in sterile services department, I was oriented to the infection prevention framework of the department and complied with the legislation and learn about the best practices, especially in standard precautions and hand hygiene, transmission-based precautions, prevention of needle stick injuries, decontamination and reprocessing of reusable medical devices and equipment, including single items, outbreak management, healthcare associated infection surveillance, and infection prevention practice in environment. So these best practice were essential to provide a standardized level of care and provide better outcomes for the health consumers. So thank you for taking time to listen to my short presentation.